I wanted to chat very, very quickly. I know I'm like 2 days late to the party and everything like that, and probably everyone else has already had their fill in. But I really, really wanted to have a quick chat about this. This is incredibly exciting for a number of reasons. Bringing chaos to the old world. You can hear me fine. Oh, thank you, Ewan. Ewan, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Oh, he's preparing Megadesk. Very good, very good, very good. This is what I wanted to talk about, sorry. This is what I wanted to talk about. Bringing chaos to the old world with a horde of rampaging marauders. And I wanted to talk about how I think this is a proper statement of intent now for the old world. I think just from what I know and what I have seen over the course of this year, I think old world is doing far better than anyone had anticipated. Far better. We knew that from what they'd said about sales and how it had how the scope had changed for old worlds, and I think this is just the first kind of major inkling of just how much that scope has now changed. Like, we knew that Cathay was coming. Like, if you couldn't read what they said it wasn't coming for the foreseeable future in that thing, and everyone freaked out and went, oh no, Cathay's cancelled. Well, they didn't say it was cancelled. Kislev is definitely not cancelled. That has been put a little bit way back for very obvious reasons. Oh, thank you. Yes, please do hit the thumbs up button for me. Thank you. Go for it, painting. Yeah, and I think this now kind of just shows just where that scope is going. We're now seeing like a classic. This I remember the original Marauder set from when I was a kid, and just how much that, like, kind of the bare chested boys was used for all sorts of different stuff. And yeah, I remember. If I remember correctly, when I was doing like the Eye of Terror campaign for like my Warhammer 40,000 Chaos Army, and there was like one point in time where you could get like a bag, and it had bits of orcs, bits of the Chaos Marauders. I think maybe there was some. I don't want to say Imperial Guards. Maybe that wasn't Imperial Guard. Maybe it was a zombie kit, and you used it to make your own like plague zombies that put in. Like, it was used all the time. I think even I watched Duncan Rose's painting video the other day, where he's kit bashed and changed up the Chaos Dwarf to look like a regular one, and he's used a Chaos Marauder shield. Like, that kit has had so much like kind of usage in Games Workshop's life cycle. Like, they'd only just gotten rid of it when they brought in the Dark Oath Marauders, and now they've brought it back for what, a year in change, and now they've dropped it for what is without a doubt one of the best looking sets I have seen Games Workshop put out in a long time. Rolando, how you doing? What does one do with the old Chaos Marauders still on the box? I think we wait and find out what base sizes these guys are on, and then you can kind of build them up. Or, there are rumors floating around that there is a that one of the lists in this will allow you to build chaos zombies. So you could even use You could even use the Chaos Marauder kit to kit bash some Chaos Zombies, which would be freaking nuts. Yeah. Like we knew that the Cathay stuff had already been, designed and built and everything like that. And this just is like a whole different thing. This is now like a complete redesign of a set. And I think the biggest thing for me is they've just dropped this on a Monday, like a random Monday with no forewarning. So it makes you go, well, what else is coming? What are they gonna like? There's gonna be, I know that there's gonna be a reveal stream, or like they're gonna do a reveal stream. What are they saving for that? I have a very good idea of what it's going to be, because I've spoken to a few people, but I mean, if it's true, then it's gonna be wicked. I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone. But yeah, that's come around a lot sooner than we think. I think like a complete redesign of something like Bretonia is not out of the run of your imagination. They've already got all the shield designs and stuff like that they're showcasing inside of the Bretonia Arcane Journal. So I think there's a whole load more stuff coming, and I think it's probably a bit beyond our wildest imaginations here. I think if they were going to drop the mammoth that I know people are like talking about, then I think we would have seen the mammoth come at the same time. Like they've done when they've done like the army sets before, they've announced and like with Cathay stuff, they put a big model in that. I think it was a few of the cannons or whatnot. I also don't think that this is a battalion box either. I think this is going to be maybe like a 60-70 pounder box. I don't think that this is gonna be like a battalion. They're calling it an army reinforcement set. We know that like gameplay wise, like if I grab my Ravening Hordes book, where are you? Like my Ravening Hordes book, what are these Marauder Horsemen? They're 12 points, so for a base unit, that's 120 points of Marauder Horsemen, and then the Marauders are 6 points each, times 10. So that's 60. That's 240 points for the Chaos Marauders. Obviously, you can upgrade to do all sorts of other stuff. But yeah, they're pretty cheap, and like I think so far, Games Workshop has, or at least the Specialist Design Studio has been incredibly generous with what they've given in the battalion box, like comparatively to the other game systems. So I think there's a whole lot more to come. I think now if you've not been sold on the old worlds because like the models are old and they look janky, I think this is just a piece of what is to come. It's insane. I think now is an excellent time to get on and join in the old world. What's Ewan just said there? You're genuinely excited for this release, but it's so many models. Like Keith Reimer. Oh, hello, how? Keith Reimer, a War Mammoth and or a Chaos Dragon. Oh, that's what you're after, are you? I mean, I don't know about the War Mammoth. I can imagine, as I was saying a moment ago, like I think if they were going to do the War Mammoth, they might have just like announced it with this. I might be wrong. Maybe they're maybe they're gonna save it for the announcement. I've not heard anything about a mammoth, but then again, no one heard anything about Cathay. When the first wave of Cathay was announced, no one heard about this coming down the line either. It's just wicked. Like, I wasn't even planning on picking any of these guys up. I've got 2,000 points of, like, barely 2,000 points of Chaos Warriors on my shelf, ready to play from converted Slaves to Darkness kits, and it's just freaking nuts. Look at these guys. I think I know that there's like a lot of guys. You are absolutely right there, Ewan. There are a lot of guys, but these are very, very dry brushable and slap choppable. There's lots of texture there. Yes, it is mostly a box of chaff. Keith, this opens the door for all the legacy armies to come back refreshed. I think so. I think there's like, there is a lot of money for Games Workshop in just, say, re-releasing the original, or like a few original lines of the vampire counts, right? I would definitely buy a bunch of Necroarch vampires. I desperately want to get a hold of the Zacharias, the Ever Living kit. If they did that in a wave, I'd buy that in a heartbeat. Maybe some of the old Blood Knights, you know, they go for a small fortune on eBay and the like. But I mean, that doesn't stop them like redoing and rebringing some of these guys out. Hal wants the rats in the old world. Absolutely, with maybe a couple of different armies of infamy. A friend of mine is playing Skaven a tournament this weekend, and he's just like, there's not really much of a way that he can find to win. So I think they do need it would be good if they had a little bit of a glow up and a return in the old world. It would be great. It would be fantastic to see them come out. Like, we know, like, anyone that's saying that Kislev isn't coming now as well is just, you know, talking out of their arse. We know that Kislev are coming. They've said as much. They've said it's just been delayed. Yeah, I mean, there's not much of an argument, I think, if there's any internal strife now, to say that they can't make. This is actually a good point as well. There's no internal argument now that they can make if they've just done a whole new redesign set of Warriors of Chaos Marauders, to say that you couldn't have two competing ranges, you know, one that's shared in the Age of Sigmar range and one that's in the old world, like it is for the Marauders and the Dark Oath. Absolutely wicked. This is, I am supremely impressed with this. Blimey. And that's kind of everything I had to say on it. Like, I'm kind of interested to hear what everyone else thinks, what they think is coming, like what army sets they would like to see updated. Like, I put a little poll out earlier. Loads of people want new Bretonians. They want new. They want other bits and bobs. Hey, Brosquito, you're actually just getting started with AOS, but had no idea about Old World. AOS is good fun. You know, I'm not one of those people that knocks it. I prefer Old World. I prefer the crunchiness of it. I play a little bit of Warhammer 40,000 every now and then, and it's a very, very similar rule set to Age of Sigmar. So I like kind of the depth the old world has, and a lot of the configuration and stuff. Yeah, I mean, someone said on the thing that you could, you know, things like the Beastmen herds now, like some of these don't look as terrible, but also at the same time they could, like, just imagine how monstrous these things could look if they did some like really gruesome looking sculpts. Like when you look comparatively at these guys versus the Ungor, like, it's mad. Like, where are the regular Gors? Because these ones do look a bit cartoony. Like, the Katashan body, you know, versus this, it's nuts. Tigerstone, if you can have a gazillion Space Marine variants, then you can definitely have 2 sets of clan kits. Yeah, absolutely. You don't even need to re-release the old models of Chaos Dwarfs, Vampire Counts, etc. They could just arrive with new redesign kits like these. Really opens up the possibilities of what may come. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the reason it would be good, like, I don't disagree with that point, Keith. I think the reason it would be good to bring the old sets back is, one, they'll make a small fortune from it. So, you know, as long as they've got the old molds floating around, which I would imagine they would do unless there's been an accident in their warehouse, it's super cheap for them to get that up and running, because they won't have to redesign any of the molds. You know, two, for a bunch of people like me that are just you know chomping member berries, like I said, I'd happily buy a bunch of Necrarch vampires and stuff like that, you know, to the Zacharias the Ever Living kit that I didn't get when I was a kid. You know, I'd happily pick all of those bits up. But yeah, it would also be great to see brand new redesigns for vampire counts in the old world. It would be awesome. Like, let's take a look at this. Yeah. So, like, these guys could definitely, like, imagine the glow up they would receive. Like, this guy is, like, he's relatively new, but I think he was redesigned originally for the, for when they were in AOS still. But, I mean, I guess, like, Crawlmore? Is Crawlmore? Yeah, Crawlmore. Here, he looks a little bit more... a little bit more like you know, kind of a bit more of a detailed kind of variant of him. Roskito, didn't realize Beastmen were only here. You were looking for them in AOS. Yeah, they got pulled out when they redid AOS, the new edition of AOS in last summer, unfortunately. Most likely more refreshers. Says Keith Hyles, Empire, Bretonian, and Tomb King seem to most likely to be the soonest. Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, let's take a look at it. I mean, if you look at the Kingdom of Bretonia lineup, I mean, I kind of like, it's the Knights Errant and the, you know, the Knights of the Realm. These guys are super old. Like, you can see the date, 2003. You know, these are over 20 years old. They're not quite as old as an Eldar Falcon Grav tank, which somehow still manages to hold up, but they do look old. And I've put them together, and, you know, I've got a Bretonia army in the cupboards, and like, they're just covered in mold lines. They're a bit of a nightmare. Like, if you look, oh god, what's going on? There we go. Like, this bit around the butt of the horse is just a nightmare, and it's just like full of model lines. If, you know, the saddle doesn't go together correctly, half the time it's a little bit of a nightmare. You know, and it's just across the range. And then you look at, like, the new Lord on Pegasus, and he's just he's like, there's massive scale creep with him. You know, you look as well at the Knights of the Realm on foot as well, and they're fantastic. They're much bigger as well. They're like 10 to 15% bigger than, or taller than the actual Knights as well. Tigerstein, you were pretty mad when they pulled Beastmen from AOS back then. You had zero interest in the old world, so Games Workshop squatted one of your armies. Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. That does suck. That does suck. It really does. Yeah, I mean, Cecil looks great. I've got I've got the Handmaiden and the Questing Knight here, and they're just beautiful kits, like, comparatively. I ended up kit bashing my own unit of Battle Pilgrims, because I can't justify spending, what's this, £50, £55 on, like, what's that, 12 guys in a chaff unit, that are all made of metal. Like, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do that. I'm not nostalgic for these guys at all. So you can see that these, are unlikely to fly off the shelf after that kind of first wave has hit them. I'd be interested to know what the sales are for them. What else could be doing? Like, yeah, these guys have just come out. Like, this was probably a bit of a giveaway, actually, as well. Maybe we weren't screaming and shouting enough, but these were kind of just a bit of a necessity. And it's just like, you kind of think, maybe they were just doing a little Necromunda thing where they're just introducing an update to a character once every now and then. But then they've just done a whole range of just chaff infantry, which is just something completely different. Yeah, it's wicked. Like, yeah, these guys are old. Like, if they could do them, the skeleton archers on horseback, and maybe the chariots as well, that would be awesome. Like, you just compare it to things like the Bone Dragon and stuff like that. And I think as I was kind of mentioning before, the other thing with it is, like, when you compare it to just, like, the price difference between, it's remained pretty in line. Like, the Cathay Battalion, full of, how many miniatures is that? That's 20... 30 infantry, 10 horse people, and then the 2 things. And this is like, they're a mid to elite army, right? But yeah, this is nuts. And they're like, this is just one of the things that just continually surprises me about Old World. It's just the entry point for it as a game is really cheap. The game depth is insanely good. Yeah, I like. Anyway, I'm gonna stop going over it. Let me know what you think. What do you think is coming next for the Old World? Are you playing? Are you thinking about joining? Has the Chaos launch, like, actually made you kind of rethink whether you would maybe get into Old World if you hadn't before? I'd kind of really love to know how, what's this done for you? Has this, as I think it is a statement of intent, has this kind of, like, maybe changed your mind on the direction of the Old World?